I would be doing like a disservice if I didn't ask about Mr. Jones. My mom's a fan, but I actually know you from that song, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people do. Can we talk about the writing of that song? And did you know like it was going to be as big as it ended up being?
Oh God, no. I
Wow.
mean, it wasn't even something we thought was a hit. Back then you used to put out like an introductory track, and then maybe the single would come next, or the third release would be the single. I think everybody thought Rain King was the hit off the record. Mr. Jones was just kind of the introductory track. It wasn't even what the record label wanted. They wanted a different song. They wanted Murder of One because it had that Jesus Jones drum beat. But I would have had to edit it, and I refused to edit anything. So we compromised by not releasing anything at all. And then we went on tour opening for Suede and the Cranberries, and then later Cracker. And there were a lot of radio stations coming to see those guys. And so whenever they asked us about our band, we would just lie and say Mr. Jones was our hit single, but it wasn't on the radio at all. And then I heard like a few months later, it started to take off, and MTV called Geffen and asked uh, where the video was for the single. And Geffen was like, which song? And the MTV people were like, what do you mean, which song? The single, Mr. Jones. And they were like, oh, yeah, we'll have it to you right away. And we had to fly back to LA, like emergency, like a couple days off to film the video on this weekend in LA. And then they put it out. But it was like they didn't even think it was the single. I mean, it was a pretty big hit on the radio, but the record wasn't even in the top 200. And then we played Saturday Night Live, and we played Round Here, and the record jumped 40 spots a week for 5 weeks until we were at number two, from like 215 to number two in 6 weeks, something like that. As far as writing it, it's kind of the story of the song. My friend Marty Jones, who had been in all the bands I'd been in before Counting Crows, his dad was a famous flamenco guitar player in Spain, and he was visiting America and playing some gigs with his flamenco troupe in the Mission in San Francisco. And we went to see the show, and then went out with those guys that night. And like, you know, all the singers and guitar players and dancers, and we all went out, and there were these really hot dancers that were paying no attention to us at all. Chris Isaac's band was like the hottest rockabilly band in San Francisco then. His drummer was in the corner of this one bar with like, seemed like two or three girls sitting with him. As far as that's how I remember it now. And Marty looked at me and he was like, man, we got to get our shit together, because if we were like rock stars like him, we wouldn't have so much trouble talking to girls. And I went home and I was like, that's actually a really funny thought about a song. Like, two guys who are musicians, just dreaming about how much easier it would be if they were rock stars. But also then the song's kind of about that, you kind of know it's not going to turn out like that. Life's not, even if you're successful, it doesn't fix everything to get famous. It just makes you famous. And so I wrote the song. It was a long time before we were famous. It was a few years before we even got signed, I would think. And like I said, when we made it, it wasn't a song that anyone thought was really the hit. It just kind of lasted, weirdly. I mean, it's a great song. I love it.
What happened to the iconic fringe jacket from the Mr. Jones video? Is that in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame somewhere? Is that in your closet? Like, what happened to that?
It's in the closet.
Nice.
I think it's in the closet. I mean, I saw it. Yeah, it's definitely in the closet. It's possibly we sealed it up like in some plastic, so it's not over the winter you put stuff away sometimes so that it doesn't get moths or something.
So you treat it just like you would a nice sweater.
It's here somewhere. It's also possible it's just in the closet. I just don't know, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Was that just a jacket you wore all the time and just happened to wear in the video, or did someone choose, hey, that would look cool in the video?
I think I had a fringe jacket that I wore all the time that got stolen right before we made the video. Like, it got lost on the road. I wore it all the time. I was obsessed with it. And then I think they helped me find a new one because I didn't want to do the video without my jacket. It was kind of a security blanket.